Hi, my name's John and welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. In the first of tonight's nightcaps, I get a bit more done on that J.A.P water pump. I find some good bits and I find some really bad bits. In the second part, I do something a little bit different for me. I make something out of wood, or at least I start to make something out of wood. My wife Deb has started doing a little bit more sort of blacksmithing work and bending spanners and things. And the anvil I've got has never actually had a proper stand. I get some decent timber given, so I make a start on making an anvil stand. It has got like an engineering sort of way of going about it, but it definitely is working with wood. The Wednesday videos are going quite well. This Wednesday, my daughter's home. It's actually her birthday today, and she's going to come home, so I'll get Emmy to do the video for us on Wednesday night. I'm sure that's something for you to all look forward to. Don't forget, if you want to see more of me, a little bit more swearing, and more detail and no adverts, I have got a Patreon channel. Well worth a look. Ah! Definitely new, but it's steady. It's a good spark. That'll start it, no problem at all. Happy with that. Right, so we've got a decent spark. Both the valves are closing. The reason why I shouldn't run, apart from this thing here, this is the carburettor. I'm looking down there and it's all that horrible white shite that aluminium gets when it corrodes. So I'll take the carburettor off, strip it and clean it. I'm going to remove some of these ancillaries first, this handle, that guard, just to make it a lot easier to work on. Really pleased the way this is coming apart. There's one or two snap studs on the front of the pump that we'll have to address, but apart from that, nothing really. There's a bracket on there. There'll be two little nuts underneath here, two 5/16 foot worth nuts. They'll have to come off. Right, so that's another part of the way I'm going to put these nuts back on, because they would hold the edge into the aluminium base plate. I did a little bit of research on the engine off the number, at least a friend did, and it was actually built in 1952, so it is getting back a bit. Two Allen keys there, Allen bolts holding on. There's a crankcase breather pipe there that just lifts out. I'm going to tack the two Allen keys next. Could be Imperial, about to be. Oh, I've got some Imperial Allen keys. These are just a cheap set. They're quite annoying the way they're tied together, but at least that is a set of Allen keys and that are Imperial. Better. Fair washers on there. I don't think it's been stripped before because everything's sort of split pin. There's a linkage to the governor. Take that split pin out and it should all come free. A little bolt in there holding that on. Right. Yeah, we'll just take that one split pin out of there and then it should be all good to go. When you split pins, it's covered in paint, so it must be assembled and then sprayed or painted when it's all built up. There's several holes along there. That was in the last hole. There's nothing else gonna fall off there. So that's the go from there. Yep. That just simply pushes on top of that bar. Oh, there fellas decided to fall off. I think I'll clear the bench up a little bit, get myself a little bit of space, and then we'll disassemble that thing. Right, I've cleared the bench. Well, I've pushed it out to one end. This is the item next. This is the carburetor. That's the throttle butterfly. That little valve there is a choke. Shows how to start it when it's cooled. There'll be a slow running jet. Probably that one. That could be well your mixture jet, that one. And there's a little thing there that you push up and down called a tickler, and that pushes on the float inside of there to allow excess fuel in. That'll allow the fuel to run in. I'm going to take the two screws out and separate the carburetor from the float chamber, split it in half. Up to now things have come apart very nicely, and I hope they continue to do so. There's a friend of mine runs a vapor blasting company called Blast Off Northeast. I might well take this carburetor across to him and get it properly cleaned. I don't know. I didn't want to damage that gasket. It hasn't really done that much damage. Right, that's the little float, and that's a little needle valve in there. This is all pretty gungy. It wants putting in something to clean it. It wouldn't have run. There's no way fuel could get through that little valve. The valve will be stuck. It's all kind of seized up, but it's not, considering the age of it, it's in pretty good condition. In fact, it's in very good condition. This is quite a decent cleaning fluid. It's got pictures of dead fish and things on. It smells a lot like turpentine. So all I'm going to do is literally soak these parts in there overnight, see what happens to them. I'm going to see if I can carefully take that joint off there with a really sharp standy blade. I don't want to have to get another one if I can help it. But if I let it soak, that's come free straight away. So I think it's going to be perfectly serviceable. All I want is a good clean. Oh, look, even the joints come off reasonably well. One little bit there. I think that'll probably go back alright, but I will order a new joint, and I might well order a new little valve as well. That one can stay on there. Drop more of the magic potion in there. I thought about buying one of those sonic cleaners for this sort of work. I don't know, I might invest in one. Now that that's soaking, I think I'll take this cover off the pump and have a look inside it. It'll still run without that part on. See, the primary objective of this is to get it working. It's a centrifugal type of pump. I think that'll be the inlet there because it's got a bung on the top to prime it, and that'll be the outlet. That's had some stick over the years. That's been hit with a hammer. I think a brass adapter. That'll be a drain there. That's had the Stiltons on it. There'll be a drain there as well. The problem with a lot of these is they're put away in the winter with water in, and they freeze up and burst. This one's managed to escape all that. broken stud there. I'll have to address that once I get things sorted out a little bit. These are all Whitworth. And now the old-fashioned Whitworth size nuts, the full-size nuts, which look a lot better than the modern ones. When that compared to an ordinary 8mm, 13mm spanner size nut, there's no comparison. These are what I call pretty nuts, I suppose. And always pretty nuts. Right, so we're getting into it now. I'll get a different box to put these parts, these nuts and bolts in. I buy these little knife trays at the supermarkets when they're on special offer. Ideal for putting parts in. Right then, it looks like there's been a squirrel living in there. Fucking hell. Eh? There's been someone in there storing nuts, isn't there? Right, so the engine gun's ruined, but the pump doesn't. Oh, it does. That's the impeller in there going round. There's definitely been someone living in here. Bloody hell. So it does all, I can't get over that. It does all go round and round. Yep, that's the impeller inside of there. They're the only moving parts. Just there's a valve, a flap valve on there. I'm sure it was. No, I'm sure it was up here. It goes that way like that, and that flap seals on that face. But there's been a squirrel or something living in there. They're all nuts or nut husks. I think I'll carry on and take this big pump off, or the big pump, or the big impeller housing. You pierce the split here and that fastens it onto the motor. So I take this part off first, I can see what happens with the coupling inside of there. So it'll still run without the pump on. Well, hopefully it'll run. These engines were used for driving all kinds of different things, lawnmowers, cement mixers, just a general purpose little stationary engine. This is a two-way engine, type 2-way. We'll find out more and more about it as I go into it. Right, everything's basically the same size nuts and bolts on this Whitworth 5/16. Like a fibre sort of vibration absorber. It's been dragged around fields and all kinds of this. There's shite in there. It certainly doesn't work. It hasn't just been stored away somewhere.
Right. An exploratory tap, I think, with a soft hammer there and see exactly what moves or what doesn't move. Sure, there was only 2 bolts in the bottom. No third one hiding. No. Right, now here's movement. Ah, the big lump just fell off there. Right. Oh no, that was held on. I think that's been bolted into there and the bolts have rotted through. So that's the first damage we've found. Right, yeah, that's snapped off. It's probably quite a common fault on these. We'll be able to repair that though, that'll not be a problem. I wouldn't have thought. I'm not sure. The reason the impeller is in such good condition is it's made of bronze. That's a magnet, it doesn't stick to it. But the pump has certainly suffered from the dreaded corrosion over the years. I'll take this off next as well, see what sort of seal is in behind there. It seals the engine. I must have a better spanner than that. I've got a nice generator, 110 volt DC generator. I was going to run off a steam engine. I could possibly power it off this. I'll make a nice little showpiece if I can't get the pump repaired. I mean, the pump's not the end of the world, it's the engine's the bit I want to really save. That's a bit that interests me, but it's nice to have an engine that actually runs something. I need to find a better spanner, a ring spanner. You know, I had one somewhere. Don't know what sort of drive will be on the end of here into that impeller, but with it being bronze it's got a chance to probably come apart, no bother. Be careful you don't damage anything. It'll be the impeller that's actually tight. certainly is. I might try a little bit of heat on the centre of there. I just don't know what happens inside of here with that coupling. I don't want to damage anything. I'll warm it up a little bit, see if that helps. That's 3 holes in there. I don't know if you've got threads in them to act like a push to push it off. I haven't got threads in now, so that's not for a pusher type thing. I'm beginning to think this is possibly screwed on, because I've had a bit tap at it and it's actually come undone. There had to be a way to get it apart. I think the heat's really helped. Oh, there's some nasty looking bits coming out of here. Right, we've got a spring loaded mechanical seal there, in good condition as well. That's a bit of nice gear, that bronze. So now that just comes off, and that is the end of the crankshaft proper. There's an oil seal in there that seals the end of the crank. So I wanted to run something else off this. I need to put a seal on there. But now we're stripped down to a basic little engine, a little motor. Yep. See how the oil seal's been run, it's actually damaged that. Well, not damaged it, but it has marked it. Nice long crank, you could certainly do anything you want with that really. I want to try and get that exhaust stuff out of there. The sound has corroded anyway. But I take that out, I can get this bit of guard off so I can see even more. It's amazing the difference a little bit of heat can make. I've been brought automotive trade, and honestly without heat you couldn't work on real cars. Of course now we use a lot more induction heaters. Some people you couldn't let loose with a oxyacetylene flame. Right, so that should lift out. Yeah. Right. There's not a great lot left now, is there? All these bits of tin will be cleaned up and painted and put back on. It's just a shame the pump's damaged like that. I'll see what's available if I can possibly repair it. Well, it doesn't look very good.